Hey guys, welcome to another Q&A. If you didn't come yesterday to watch the part 1 of this video, that was all about my parenting related questions and answers to them that you guys asked on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And today I'm going to be talking about personal questions and questions related more to daycare and YouTube. So if you want to go back and watch what I talked about parenting, definitely go ahead, but I'm just going to jump right into talking about more personal questions, and then I'll move to the daycare and YouTube questions. So someone asked, how did I grow my self-discipline? I get asked a version of this question a lot, like, how are you so motivated? How do you get so much done? Like, where do you get that? Where does that come from? And I don't really know. I've always been an overachiever to a fault in school and stuff, and I think it's just part of me. Probably both my parents are really hard workers and push themselves really hard, so I think I probably just got it from them. But it really depends on what it is. Like, I'm not an overachiever when it comes to cleaning my house because I hate it. So I'm not an overachiever in that way. When it comes to tidying and organization and this channel and stuff like that, I love it and it's very important to me. So I'm dedicated to it. I think I just throw myself at the things that mean a lot to me, parenting, stuff like that, and kind of let the other stuff go. Like, my house is clean, but it's not like some YouTube channels where they're cleaning all the time. I hate it. It just does not bring me joy, and it's just gonna get dirty again. So I'm not like deep cleaning every area of my house every day. It's just not something I love. So I think I just really, really dive deep into the things that I'm passionate about. And I have alluded and talked about the fact that I have a secret project coming up, and in that secret project, I will be sharing more about my postpartum depression. It's not all about postpartum depression, but that's just something that I will be talking about and sharing more about. And that really is tied to my self-discipline in a lot of ways. So make sure you are subscribed so you can find out what the secret project is and find out how it relates to postpartum depression, because it seems really odd, but I can't go into it here. It would take way too long. And then I just read a lot of books on it, and somebody had asked, like, what are my favorite books for motivating? I have 4 books I would recommend. I always talk about The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. If you've heard me talk about it this many times and you haven't read it, go and read it. It's so good. That one really helped me get out of postpartum depression and just taught me, how the value in the little things that you do every day, the little habits, not the big things. The little things are what change your life and can really take your life from, rock bottom to success, or what have you, 100 pounds overweight to fit. The other ones I would recommend are the 12-week year. That one was great about how to set goals and why it's important to have shorter term goals, because you kind of forget about them if they're longer term. So that's a great one. The Compound Effect is a lot like The Slight Edge, but just told in slightly different way and very interesting as well. And then Atomic Habits, I still haven't even finished that, but it's really, really good, talking about how you form a habit, how you change a habit, what you need to do to make it last, and just really like the science and the psychology of it. I thought was very, very interesting. So I would definitely check out that one as well. What are my favorite ways for self-care for myself as a busy mom who is introverted? It's funny because I think one of the ways I recharge is hanging out with my friends. I think it's because I don't get to do it very often. If I was hanging out with them all the time, that would take away energy, but because I love my friends so much and I don't get to see them very often, when I get to see them and they're so close to me, like I don't feel like they take my energy because they know me so well, and I don't have to hide who I am. I don't feel like I have to put up a guard or anything like that, and I can just be freely, completely who I am. It's kind of like being around my husband. Like, I don't feel like he drains my energy because he's like one and the same of me, if that makes sense. Like, my friends, I feel like, are just an extension of me, so they don't drain my energy. They definitely fill me up, and I absolutely adore the times I've gotten to spend with my best friends who live in various places. So it's just really nice when we can get together away from kids. I love hanging out with them with kids, but that's draining. And then other than that, just like showering, listening to podcasts and things that educate me or inspire me, reading books. I like going for drives by myself, and just like having a day to like go do whatever I want, which never happens, but it sounds really, really nice. How did I handle the stress when I was doing daycare, or even I would say now, like I feel like I don't feel like my life is a lot less stressful because of daycare. It's a different kind of stress, but I feel like I still have my most difficult daycare children, because most people tell you your hardest daycare kids are your own, and they didn't go away, you know, when I closed the daycare. So I still have them, but I definitely don't have the extra stress of the parents and the business side of it. So that's been really nice. But how did I handle the stress? I think I just tried not to overdo it, try to have as many routines as possible, have a few people I could reach out to when I'm really overwhelmed and just to vent to who understand, and backing off, I guess, when it was becoming too stressful and saying, you know what, there's a really colicky baby right now. Maybe we can't do preschool time 5 days a week. I just mentally can't do it, and switch it to 3 times, like making changes that keep me sane. Do I ever have lazy moments or moments where I don't want to do anything at all? Yes, I would say more often than not, though, I have these like intense urges to like tidy the house because it's driving me crazy, or do this one project that I just all of a sudden got in my head and I have to do it now. Like, to me, that's really relaxing because it's like accomplishing something, and tidying my house is so therapeutic for me. It just, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like this intense urge, like this has to get done, and I'm overwhelmed all of a sudden. And so once I take the action of, you know, tidying up, it's like when our house, after a long week, stuff is just everywhere. When I put it all away and I see our house and it's like calming, it's calming to me. And I often will like listen to a podcast when I'm doing that, or a YouTube video, and it's just very therapeutic. To me, that's very relaxing. I don't know if that's the same for everyone, but I just love doing that. But I do have moments where I want to sit and do nothing. I just find that I have a hard time with that because I have kids. Like, I would love to sit and watch a movie in the middle of the day, but it's just not really possible most days with little kids, unless it's their movie, and that's not very fun for me. I'd rather watch something I want to watch and have people leave me alone. But it just doesn't happen. So I usually would rather do something. What do I do for exercise? This is one area of my life that has been just super hard for me to get a system down and still do work like glue and, you know, everything else I have going on. So I don't do a whole lot. Right now I'm starting to do diastasis recti YouTube videos to try to like heal my abs and get them back in working order. And then I would love to do like a 20 to 30 minute video 4 days a week or something. And I plan to do it when Bryony's awake, when the baby's awake, just get it done in the morning after Silly goes to school. Because I find that when my kids are asleep, I just don't want to do it then. And I've tried for years to get myself to do it, and it's just not happened. So I'm trying to find a different way that will work. But I love doing workout videos more than anything. How do I maintain individual happiness outside of my children? I would say right here is a big thing. I think having some kind of outlet, and also doing daycare was that way for me. I think being a stay-at-home mom is such an honorable thing, and I know a lot of women who absolutely love that, pour themselves into it, and still can feel fulfilled with that solely. For me, I'm trying to say this in a way that's not judgmental, because I'm not judging stay-at-home moms at all, but it's such a weighted topic that people feel strongly about, so I don't want to say anything that's offensive. So for me, I feel I need something beyond or in addition to being a mom to fulfill me fully, I guess. So I have always had it on my heart to create something, to have a business, to give to the world in a way in addition to motherhood. I think motherhood is completely fulfilling, and I love it, and it definitely fulfills me in a big way. But I also feel I have this mission in my heart to help other moms, and with daycare it was, you know, to care for children, and it goes beyond my motherhood. So if that makes sense, that's one huge way where I have happiness in myself, because I'm doing what I feel called to do. So if you do feel called to do motherhood, like maybe if you're not feeling completely fulfilled, what can you add to your motherhood in some way? But for me, I just knew that I needed something beyond motherhood. I don't know. How has Sam been doing with his cookie business and his crazy hours and the newborn? Not gonna lie, it's been a really hard transition because right after the baby, he had his days off and then he got back to work and it was like, oh, now his schedule's all weird again. We hadn't had that before the baby came. We had a few months of stable hours and days, which we weren't used to. So we kind of got used to it and we didn't have any time to prepare that, oh, it's not gonna be that way anymore. It just kind of happened. I think had we prepared that it was going to be right then, it would have been a little bit easier, but it is what it is. We've lived this way for so long, but now with the cookie business, it is hard, but he loves it. It's his dream. So we're just both working to find a way to make that easier for him and to fit into his schedule. And I think we're getting that down now. But it has been kind of a stressful road trying to do all that. And some people would say, well, just give up on the cookie business, but he loves it. This is his dream. Like, it's not something we want to give up, so we're trying to find a way to fit it in that's not going to add a ton of stress to him. What are my favorite YouTube channels to watch? Let me check. So I don't get a ton of time to watch videos, but definitely The Minimal Mom with Dawn. Organized Little Lady, I love Brittany Vasseur, Jen Chapin. Clutterbug with Cass. Old World Home with Hillary, I love. Marriage and Motherhood with Gia. Do It on a Dime, of course. What's Up Moms. Trying to see the ones that like I'll usually watch every video that they post. Those are probably the main ones that I watch almost every video. I love a lot of channels, don't get me wrong, but I only have so many hours in the day and I'm working on this. So I feel like I have even fewer hours and sometimes I just like to watch Netflix or whatever at the end of the day. So those are my favorites and I will link to all their channels below if you haven't heard of any of them. Do I have a daily Bible devotional time to myself? I used to do that right at the beginning of NAP. I've fallen out of that. I really need to get back into it. I try to do a devotional after I do my work time. I'll do my Miracle Morning time, but that's been really hard to add back in because I have been working so much on the secret project and stuff. So I am prioritizing work over it, which I know is not good, but that's something I need to work on. Are we planning to move in the future? We're not specifically planning to move, but we figure we will move one day. Not anytime soon unless something happens, but I always say I just don't know where life's gonna take us. Like if the opportunity presented itself and it just made sense and financially and everything, in a year it just made sense to move, sure, but we have no plans to move anytime soon. We love our house, we love our neighborhood, we love where we live, that kind of thing. I don't even know where we would move to or why we would move. I would love a slightly different layout of a house. I do love our house, but just living here now with 3 kids, I'm like the basement isn't as utilized as I would have loved. I would have loved more space on the main level and less just like extra space in other places. And I would love to have either 2 bigger bedrooms for our girls to share or 3 bedrooms so they could each have their own. I wouldn't mind them 2 of them sharing and 1 not having their own. It's just hard because our extra bedroom is so tiny that it will be, you know, it won't be a lot of space for whoever's left. It's basically gonna fit a bed and not much else, but you know, people have lived with worse. I just would rather them have a little bit more space. Do I love my Crosswave as much as I thought I would? Yes, I love it. Do I use it as often as I would like? No, just because I feel like it's a little bit more work than just, I don't mop as much as I would like to, is what I'm admitting to right here, but it's a little bit to clean. It's really not that hard and it takes a little bit of time to actually use. And the main holdup is I don't want my kids walking through there. And so I try to do it when they're not awake, but then I don't have the motivation to do it. So I don't know. It's pretty much the same as just mopping, but I love it a bazillion times more than having to sweep and then do a steam mop. I love that it sucks it up. It works amazing. So it's not that, it's more just I hate cleaning. And then I did have some questions about San and his faith and then political views, and I'm just going to come out and say I'm not going to answer those. I'm not going to answer about San's faith because it's his faith, not mine, and I don't feel it's my place to tell his story. And then as far as political views, I'm so sick of politics on both ends. Like, I don't really like anybody. I'll say that much, but I feel like with politics, there's so much more to a person than who they are going to vote for. And I don't know. I just don't care to share it. I hate politics. I mean, I'm going to vote and everything, but I just hate how divided it makes people who love each other and care about each other and our country as a whole, when really I think we have a lot more in common than we have different. But that's just my 2 cents on that. Moving on to YouTube and daycare related questions. A lot of people are asking if I plan to go back to daycare or teaching one day, like when the girls are older. Honestly, I don't see myself doing that unless I have to. So, or, you know, I decide to later on. But right now, I'm really just like, I want to help moms and find a way to do that, and you know, create things that serve moms and can also help our family financially. And, you know, Sans DoDaddy business, like we want to see where that takes us and everything. Like we just have really big dreams. I don't know when or how or if they will happen, but we're just in this phase now, especially with the pandemic, where we're like, you know, we only get this one life. Let's make the most of it. Let's try going after our dreams. We're not going to make stupid decisions, but slightly risky decisions. And I think closing my daycare was a slightly risky decision because YouTube doesn't fully cover our income. But I don't want YouTube to be my only source of income. It could go away at any time. I'm working on creating other things that can serve, but also serve our family, if that makes sense. And I'm just so passionate about helping moms, and that's really what I want to do. If you ask me, like, what is my passion, what lights my heart on fire, that is what lights my heart on fire. So how am I feeling now that I'm out of daycare? I mean, I miss some parts of it, like the kids and stuff, but overall, I won't lie, like I was pretty burnt out when I closed the daycare down because of the pandemic and just the government and just everything and things parents were saying about daycare providers. And I just was getting really worn out, and I had some experiences that previous year that were very difficult to go through as a provider, and were just really hard and pushed me more towards burning out, I guess I will say. So it's not that I quit because I burned out. I closed the daycare because it just made sense for our family, but the burnout was definitely a contributing factor. But it wasn't like solely because of that. What do I enjoy most about not having a daycare? It's definitely just the flexibility and the ability to leave. I think something that people don't understand when you're a daycare provider, it's not the same as being a stay-at-home mom. Like stay-at-home moms can leave their house and go places, and to some extent some daycare providers will leave. Like I would go to the park, or I would, you know, some providers would go like on field trips, but that requires a lot of planning, like a ton of car seats, and it's just really stressful to even do that. Plus, like, we can't just up and leave anytime. Like if we have to go to the doctor, it's a big ordeal. Parents are mad at us. If our kids, you know, need something, or we want to go see their school play during the day, like it's just really, really hard, and you end up letting people down. And yes, you can get over that, but it's still a fact that people are going to be upset with you for putting your family first. And so I just love that I can make decisions now. Even when I watch a little boy, like it's more freeing, and I can sign Celia up for a community ed class and drive her there and take the little boy with. Like it's just so much more freeing in that way, and that is probably my #1 favorite thing, as well as freeing to not have all the regulations on my house. So somebody asked, like, how am I working online? So I've shared that I'm an online entrepreneur. I do post YouTube videos, that's a part of it, but I also create products that I sell on Teachers Pay Teachers, and I am looking forward to creating a lot more products that will serve moms and solve a problem for busy moms and make their lives a little bit easier. I'm also working on a secret project like I talked about, so I have my hand in a lot of things, and it's something I've always loved doing. Another question was like, how did you get started? Honestly, I've been online to some capacity since I was like 10 years old. Back in the day, I figured out how to use, was it Paint Shop Pro or something, and like make different pictures and like of American Idol stars and stuff like that, and I created websites back in the day. My brother is a big computer person and he taught me a little bit about HTML, and then I just Googled the rest and I would create websites and I would write poetry and stuff like that and post it on there, and had kind of like a blog before it ever became a blog. And I know some people followed me since I had a couple different blogs back in the day, and I had a photography business where I had a website. So I've always kind of been online to some degree, even before it was like a thing. But as far as YouTube goes, that started, I don't know, 8 years ago or so, when I started doing some planning videos, and then it really revved up after we had Celia and I started posting more regularly. But yeah, I love creating businesses and I love the online world. I love the whole creativity of it and coming up with ideas and serving others all over the world and connecting with people all over the world. I think it's just amazing. So I love that. But as far as like tips for starting YouTube, I don't really know. Just do it. Don't think too much about it. Just pick up a camera and go, or pick up your phone and go. The more you think about it, the more you're going to talk yourself out of it. So my biggest tip is just do it. And then people have asked about financially, is my YouTube income enough to cover all of our expenses and everything? Like, did it match my daycare income? No. But with the extra time I've added and having money in savings, we are fine, and that's why I'm still going to be watching another child. Plus, I love him and his family's amazing, so it just works out that way. But so we're not being stupid. It's not like we can't pay our bills or anything like that, but took a leap of faith. You know, it wasn't anywhere near matching what I made with daycare, but with daycare I made a lot more most months than we actually needed. So it's caused us to like try to live with less and be more happy with what we have, and then just make some decisions financially for growing our income in different ways. And San started his dough daddy, so that's helped as well. And now that I've had more time to dedicate, you know, I'm growing our income through the time I'm working on Work Life Glue and stuff like that. And then someone asked, how are you still uploading consistently with a newborn? I took a couple weeks where I just did weekly prep videos, but I just love it. Like, I just absolutely love it. So I love waking up at 4 a.m. I know that's crazy, but now that Gwen's here, I just love it. The pregnancy was so hard on me and I was so tired all the time that it was harder to wake up at 4, but now I'm like, I'm ready to go. I just fed the baby. She's happy. My girls are asleep. I can get some stuff done. And I love serving other moms. I love sharing, and I just love it. So it doesn't feel like a lot of work. It's something I absolutely love doing. And how did I learn how to do YouTube? How did I learn to edit? How did I learn thumbnails? A lot of learning from other people online. I don't think I ever took a course for that stuff. I just kind of figured it out. But like I said, like, I know Photoshop. I know a lot of things. It wasn't that hard to learn. But I started on Windows Movie Maker, and then now I use Adobe Premiere Pro. You know, I would love to have more fancier editing and stuff like that, but that takes more time. And honestly, I just would rather get my message out than have it be super fancy. And I'd rather put out more content that's good content, but maybe not as flashy, than do less content but flashier, if that makes sense. So there's so much free resources out there online, or you could pay for a course or something where they teach you how to do that. And then lastly, have I ever considered making videos for other moms to set up a YouTube channel? I've thought about it, but honestly, like, I don't have the biggest channel in the world. I don't have the best videos or the best editing or the best thumbnails, so I feel like other people have more to say about that. Maybe one day. I mean, I would rather do a course about how to go after your dreams and how to fit it in and how to schedule it and manage it so that it could help more moms than just ones who want to get started on YouTube. And I think if you get started on YouTube, don't do it for money or fame or anything like that. Like, I could care less about the fame and the money. Still don't make very much money, and I've been on here a long time, doing this for a long time. It's way more about how much I love it first and foremost, and how much it serves and helps others in the community. So don't even get started unless you love those other parts of it, because chances are the money may never come, or it's gonna take a long time. But I think you can build a business starting with YouTube, but I wouldn't ever depend on that solely, and I don't think it's smart to depend on it solely when it could go away at any time. But I think it's a great way to serve an audience and get to know other people and just have a lot of fun. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will hope to be back next week with our normal weekly prep. Hopefully I'll get some sleep so that I can have that video for you. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already subscribed and went through this whole video, I would definitely urge you to subscribe, because that was a long video to sit through. You must find some enjoyment watching this type of content. So I would love to have you as part of our glue stick family. And like I said, I have a secret project that I will reveal fairly soon. So make sure you stick around so you can find out what that is. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.